I want to welcome you all to this event. James Hilliard on board moderating this event, which is boosting performance with HPE ProLiant Gen11 servers. We're going to be talking about some of the new features during our tech talk part of the conversation. This is all part of our series, Win with a Flexible and Secure Cloud Experience, being brought to you by the team over at WEI in partnership with HPE and Intel. I want to take a couple minutes up front here, tell you what we're going to do for the next 90 minutes or so. First off is our tech talk. So the first 30 minutes or so will kick things off. We're going to be hearing from Matt Leal. He is with us from WEI, a pre-sales solutions architect over there. Get just a little lay of the land about what WEI is doing to help customers across all industries support them with their modern initiatives. So we'll be doing that with Matt to kick things off. And then we're going to spend about 20 minutes or so with HPE's Dylan O'Connell. He is the master enterprise architect there. And again, really a bit more of a dive into some of the new features that are part of those HPE ProLiant Gen11 servers, which are powered by the 4th generation of Intel Xeon scalable processors. And we'll just talk about how they're really able to provide really more agile data infrastructure, helping teams like yours out there really unlock the power of all the data that you are generating to make those good business decisions and drive your teams forward. So that's the tech talk. And then we do get Matthew Judon on board with us. New England Patriots sack king pro. It's what he does. He is a tight end he is a linebacker for the team. With that, I do want to get into the tech talk part of the conversation. That means Matt Leal, I get to hand things over to you for a little bit. And again, we want to give folks an idea of what WEI is doing for teams out there. So with that, welcome. Glad to have you on board. Let me turn it over to you.
All right, great. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. Great intro. So like James said, my name is Matthew Leal. I'm a pre-sales solution architect for WEI. Thank you all for joining today's session. I hope you not only learn a little bit about WEI, what it is we do, the solutions that we help deliver to our customers alongside HPE, but also get to ask some questions to one of my favorite players, I'll say. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about who WEI is, maybe give you a short history lesson as to where we come from. But really what we're going to drill into is sort of what our capabilities are, how we're bringing value to our customers. So without further ado, let's jump right into this, shall we? So WEI was founded a little over 30 years ago now, back in 1989. We've been operating as a value-added reseller and technology provider for the past 30 years. And we've seen some rapid growth over the past several years. Today, our facilities cover over 100,000 square feet, including several warehouses and integration spaces. We currently have about 200 employees, over half of which are part of our engineering and pre-sales organization, very engineering focused here at WEI. To give you sort of an idea of the size of our organization, we'll do about 400 million in revenue this fiscal year, and about a quarter of that is product that's going to be shipped globally or outside the U.S. So although we are solely based here in the Northeast, here in Salem, New Hampshire, we'd have one branch office. Our span does reach around the globe. We have about 350 customers spanning every industry vertical that you can imagine, healthcare, financial, energy, manufacturing, retail, a number of which can be found on the Forbes 500 list. We've been recognized as a top supplier, not only by third-party organizations, but by our customers themselves. We have a number of nominations and awards to reflect that. And really what makes that all possible is WEI's dedication and excellence to engineering. And our engineering-led approach. As part of this, our engineers are constantly studying for new certifications in a number of areas of technology from a number of different OEMs, HPE being just one of, but probably our most important OEM partner. So let's take a look closer into what WEI's core technology solutions are. So we have a number of different practices here at WEI, but like most VARs, we got our start in the data center in traditional infrastructure. But since then, we've added several areas of expertise to our portfolio. And two areas that are pretty much constantly busy from our engineering side are our networking and cybersecurity practices. This group can do anything from implementing SD-WAN fabrics, deploying wireless access, doing campus and data center networking, identity access management, and they can do a whole lot more than just that. Another area that, sort of up and coming and where we're putting a lot of focus on, especially for this year, is our cybersecurity and DevOps, or sorry, the hybrid cloud and public cloud solution space. Sorry. We have experience with all of the major CSPs, so your GCP, your AWS, and your Azure, and we've helped customers develop cloud strategies around those three CSPs. Most importantly, and this is something that our customers are constantly asking for, and this is something that we help them with, is finding the right mix of on-premises and cloud infrastructure. And the idea is you're trying to optimize cost and keep the bills that you get from AWS and Azure, keep those within reason and keep them in check. And one of the major ways and the ways we're helping our customers along sort of that cloud transformation journey is modernizing their infrastructure and modernizing their applications, taking advantage of things like Kubernetes and containerization, which then leads into being able to deploy your infrastructure as code, and taking advantage of DevOps tools and automation tools, things like Ansible and Terraform, just to name a few. And we have another practice here at WEI that's specializes in doing just that. So I won't cover all of the practices and all of the areas of expertise we have at WEI. It'd probably be faster to talk about the technologies that we don't cover. But at the end of the day, and sort of the takeaway from this is that WEI is a holistic solution provider. And if there's anything that we can't do with our own in-house engineering, we have an ecosystem of trusted partners that help us fill in the gaps. So let's talk a little bit more about the process and what you can expect from an engagement with WEI. So most of all our projects start with someone from my team in the pre-sales organization. We may do an assessment of your environment to better understand the landscape that we're working with. We have a number of tools at our disposal that help us do this. And at the beginning stages, we might also do something like a proof of concept. We have gear here in our demo lab. As you can see, we have over $500 million of gear available in our lab for doing customer POCs. This way we can sort of test our hypothesis ahead of time. We can proceed with confidence that the end solution is going to perform the way we expect it to. So once we decide, we've signed off on a design, we hand it off to our SEs, to do what they do best, right? And whether that's a simple, burden of that equipment or to do a complex multi-vendor integration that's fully customized and all installed, basically a turnkey solution that we're going to hand over at the end of the day. And we have dedicated space, like I said, here in our facilities in Salem to do all the integration work, anything from, pre-configuring access points all the way up to doing, full multi-rack deployments, all with, custom cabling, labeling, etc. So as a part of those engagements, typically we do some post-installation support. This is just to ensure that we're doing the proper handoff on your new equipment, making sure that all the day one operations go smoothly, you're satisfied with the work as it was performed, and of course answering any of your questions that may come up. Part of this too is probably doing some knowledge transfer if that's needed. So one of the other differentiators and the ways that WEI helps add value to our customers is the ability to store equipment for you. Something simple, but the better we get to know you and your standards and understand the technology that you prefer, we can keep stock of the inventory that you like. And just thinking of a scenario, how many times have you placed an order for a switch or an access point and been told that you're gonna have to wait 6 to 8 months for it? That's part of your standards and you really don't want to deviate from it. Well, having customer-owned inventory and customer-dedicated stock is, just a couple of ways that WEI can help mitigate, some long lead times. And we do that for our customers all the time. So I talked a little bit about our integration capabilities. Here at WEI, we have a zero DOA policy. So whenever you have equipment shipped to us here at our facilities, it's always getting unboxed, powered on, and making sure that it works. So whenever you receive a shipment from WEI, it's always going to have WEI packing tape. We'll reuse the packaging and boxes, but we're not simply drop shipping equipment to our customers. Simple things, updating firmware to whatever the latest revision is or whatever standard you have. The way we see that is, we're taking that burden off of your plate, freeing up your time to, invest in, what's most important to you. We also have the ability to do things like full asset management with things like end user devices, laptops, mobile devices. We'll take those devices, enroll them in your MDM of choice, and even keep stock of those devices on our shelves, making it easier for you to maintain a standard model over a life cycle. So as you do your rollout, you don't have to worry about, again, long lead times, end of life dates, and supply chain issues. So like I mentioned before, about a quarter of all our sales will be shipped globally. And we've landed equipment in over 120 different countries. If you are local to New Hampshire, I do urge you to stop by, do a tour of our headquarters, see the operation at work. We're always doing knowledge transfer sessions and workshops, which are complimentary. So, for the past couple of years, those have been entirely virtual. But we have several spaces in our headquarters that we use as classrooms, and we teach a variety of different topics. I think some of the upcoming and recent sessions that we've done were around Nutanix, PowerShell. I recently, sat in on one of our Veeam classes, and those are great, and of course complimentary. So reach out if you're interested. And I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I did want to point out the fact that we do have dedicated project management organization. So it's standard practice in all our engagements that you have a dedicated project manager assigned, and they're there to ensure that we meet project deadlines, ensure that all the roles and responsibilities are clearly defined throughout the project, and there's no ambiguity for who's responsible for what, and ultimately at the project's conclusion, that you're satisfied with the work that was performed and that all of the objectives were met. So this is sort of my last slide. I just want to briefly mention the partnership that we have with HPE. WEI has been a partner for almost 20 years now, going back to when HPE originally acquired Compaq. And we've been recognized in the past by HPE as one of their top partners. In fact, ranking number 2 if you look at the number of engineering certifications that we have here in North America. We like to think that WEI is, and our team is sort of an extension of the HPE team that you may already be working with. And in fact, if you look at, the pre-sales organization here at WEI, many of us have old HPE badges, myself included. So we're very familiar with HPE as a company. But in short, we're fluent in HPE solutions. Being a partner with HPE has been the best thing for WEI. We can attribute a lot of our success and the growth that we've seen the past couple of years to that partnership. We believe that, when you start with the right solution, the right technology from HPE, you add the services and the engineering expertise that WEI brings to the table, that just leads to better engagements and happier customers, with the end product. And ultimately, that's what we're all about, not only WEI, but HPE by extension. So thank you for joining today. Again, my name is Matthew Leal. I'm a pre-sales solution architect for WEI. If you don't know who your WEI account executive is, and you're interested in joining one of our workshops, if you're looking for maybe an infrastructure assessment from someone from our pre-sales team, or if you just have questions, feel free to reach out to marketing@wei.com. And again, thank you for joining today, and look forward to the rest of the session. And yep, that's all for me, James. I'll hand it
Perfect,
back to
Matt.
you.
I do
Thanks.
appreciate it. And Dylan, as I bring you on here from HPE, I'm looking back at that image that Matt showed of the warehouse. And upon my view, because I have some knowledge of what those HPE ProLiant Gen11 servers look like, of course, they're powered by those fourth generation Intel Xeon scalable processors. They could store some of those on site. And then when a customer needs it, just get them right out there. I just thought I'd mention that. There was a little room in the warehouse there. Dylan, we're glad to have you on board. I wanted to give you, we're going to take about 15 or 20 minutes and talk about some of the newer features in the HP ProLiant servers out there and what that's really doing to help folks unlock all the data that we're creating on a regular basis and get into the data so they can make good business decisions. So with that, glad to have you on board, Dylan. I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, James. And I just want to start off by saying that, we have to give props where props is due. WEI is one of our best partners. They really are just an extension of our team. They can pick up the phone and be in contact with one of the engineers who designed the firmware on a chip, in a matter of minutes. So it's really cool and great to partner with them. So I just want to say thank you for the partnership. So I wanted to give a quick introduction, high-level overview of HPE, because maybe you haven't worked with us before and you don't know anything about the company, but I can assure you we don't sell printers or laptops. So let's just dive into what HPE is. And we call ourselves the Edge to Cloud as a Service company. And I'm going to explain that right now. So that whole mantra started back in 2018 when Antonio Neri became our CEO. And he said, way back in 2018, the enterprise of the future is going to be edge-centric, data-driven, and cloud-enabled. And that's been our mantra ever since. And that's what we've been building as a company since 2018. And so just to explain what that means, edge-centric, all about the Internet of Things. That's where data comes from, right? People might say, what is the edge? We're all holding the edge in our pockets. We have cell phones, we interface, we create data every day. And so that's where the data comes from. It comes from the edge. And then we have to take that data and derive insights from it. And so with the explosion of AI, it's gotten very popular for the past 2 years, but we've been doing AI for quite some time, getting value from your data and using it to make business decisions. And the last thing, being cloud enabled, it's really all about a hybrid cloud approach. That's what people have been striving towards for the last few years. We've really got that nailed down at HPE now. And so just to show you the proof in the pudding that we're putting our money where our mouth is in regards to this, these are all the companies we purchased over the last couple of years. It seems like we purchased a company every couple of months or so. But you can see around the edge, we bought Aruba Networks, Plexi, Silver Peak, Ethernet, you might not be familiar with. That's private 5G. So we can do private 5G for you if you want. And that's, how we're really connecting all of these edge devices with all of these companies. We also are data driven. So you'll see a ton of acquisitions here in the AI space. Companies like Ampool, Determined AI, Pachyderm. These are all, pretty large AI software companies that we've acquired, and now we have that power. We also have been acquiring a lot of supercomputing companies. So when it comes to supercomputers, HPE was ranked number 3 in the world for the best supercomputers. SGI was number 2 and Cray was number 1. So we just bought our competition, and now we have the most powerful computers in the world. So we can do a lot when it comes to the HPC AI space. And then lastly, we've built out the hybrid cloud. We bought a bunch of great cloud companies. So now we have a very solid hybrid cloud story. And so what we've done with all those acquisitions and with all of our intellectual property is we have built the GreenLake cloud platform. So you could see here what it is. The GreenLake cloud platform, we have networking, we have servers, we have storage. And on top of that, we can layer data management services. We can do bare metal, virtual machines, containers, and we can layer AI and analytics on top of all of that. And this can be consumed as a service. You could purchase it outright. And it's elastic, open, and partner enabled. So we have the hybrid cloud platform ready to roll. It's built for you. And we're very happy to get into discussions of how we can help you accelerate your business goals with it. And that being said, a lot of it is powered by Intel 4th gen Xeon scalable processors. So to give you a little sneak peek into what's under the covers there, I did mention servers are in that hardware layer, right? We have networking, server storage. That's what makes any data center tick, whether you're in AWS or Azure or the GreenLake cloud platform, right? So we have a whole bunch, a suite of servers here. We have everything from tiny microservers to literally the most powerful computers in the world. So the most powerful computer in the world today, the first exascale system, is an HPE system. So we can go from sitting on your desk to as big as you want. And we have lots of data center solutions here, and they're all available, these ones up here, to be powered by the Intel 4th generation processors, which are the latest and greatest. So how do you know if you're going to be getting the latest and greatest Intel processor on an HPE system? Well, you're going to see Gen 11. That's how you know you're getting the 4th gen Intel processors. And our Gen 11 servers have broken 43 world records. So these systems, they're quite potent in terms of power and efficiency. You'll see here, data efficiency, we won 7 records for that. Data management, artificial intelligence. So quite a lot going for you there when it comes to these latest generation. But the question is going to be, why would I purchase an HPE server when I could get an Intel 4th generation processor in any server? What's the driving factor here for going with HPE? And the answer comes down to security. So bar none, there is no more secure server out there than HPE ProLiant Gen 11 server. So it all started back in Gen 10 when we introduced the Silicon Root of Trust. And that was an immutable chip, could not be changed, that could verify all of the firmware down below your operating system and make sure there was no malicious zeros or ones involved. And that was groundbreaking. No one's been able to quite replicate it since, because that technology, that Silicon Root of Trust, allowed for something called runtime firmware verification, meaning that this server can check below the OS while it's running without rebooting it to verify if any malicious code's been installed. And no one's been able to replicate that since. And so Gen 10, that came out back in, I want to say, was it 2018 or 2019? So that's technology's been around for a while. But like I said, it's still unmatched today. So if you have a server and you're curious if it's been compromised below the operating system, the only way you can know for sure is if it's an HPE one, because we check it every 24 hours automatically. We also introduced our secure supply chain with Gen 10. And then Gen 10 Plus was when we had the 3rd generation Intel Xeon processors. We added TPM, which is a trusted platform module. And we also added some cool technology around device attestation and zero trust provisioning. We also added, for those 3-letter government agencies that need to buy things that were made in America, the DL380T and DL360T. So they come with a little Made in America sticker. They're made in a secure facility by people with background clearances. You can trust that has not been tampered with. So that's what we did of Gen 10 Plus. And then of Gen 11, we stepped it up again. We said, being the best in the industry with our security isn't enough. We have to keep improving, because the bad actors out there don't stop. So neither will we. We upgraded our ILO chip to ILO 6, and ILO is the foundation of our security. I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. We also upgraded our supply chain, so now we can offer global supply chain security services. We also now have GreenLake for Compute Ops Management. It's a cloud-based server management service where you can verify the secure integrity of your servers from the cloud. And we also implemented our platform certificate and IDEV-ID technologies by default. So platform certificate, high level, what that is, we basically create a digital fingerprint of the server. So we know exactly what's in it from the hardware and software side. We can create a hash. And if anything that server's changed, hardware or software, you would know when you received it. So this ensures not even a bad actor at WEI could tamper with your server. Just, in the worst case scenario, insider attacks are something that we have to think about. And so that's how we handle that. We can verify from the time it leaves our secure facility to the time it gets on your front door, a bad actor has not touched it. It could be the UPS delivery driver that installs some bad firmware on the server, right? You're protected with HPE from that. So I do want to talk about, for a second here, where attacks can come from. If we had a bit more time, one of the demonstrations I love to do is how to hack into a server. And there's a couple ways that I really enjoy for getting in there. And all of them involve going in below the operating system. And you might say, how is a hacker going to get in below my operating system? Well, the more advanced hacks you see these days, they're exploiting things below the operating system because we generally do a pretty good job hardening everything from the operating system to the platform to the applications. And so ransomware is listed here in the operating system range. I recently had a customer that was attacked, and they were exploiting some background backdoors that were below the operating system to get in there to implement the ransomware. So the bad actors are getting very intelligent these days. So we have to look at all of the attacks that can happen down below the operating system. So things like your UEFI BIOS, your firmware, your processor attestation, and your supply chain. We have to lock all these things down if you want to be truly secure. And here's examples of all the attacks, rootkits, bootkits, booting into alternate OSs, flashing, malware, deepen your the firmware for your baseboard management controller. All of these things are possible exploits. So let me show you how HPE handles that. The first thing is with our secure supply chain. I mentioned that with Gen 11, we can do a global secure supply chain. So what does that mean? It means that any server you want, when you're getting a Gen 11 DL server, if you get this SKU as optional, it's going to be manufactured in a US facility with people with background clearances. You're going to get a Made in America sticker on it, and all of the highest security modes are going to be turned on. So from the factory, that server was not tampered with, and it's got everything enabled, so it's secure. Above supply chain, we have the hardware. And hardware is where HPE's security really stands out. That's where we're different from the crowd. And it's because of that ILO 6 chip. So we have all of this stuff listed out here, but I'm going to deep dive into the ILO chip for a second. So this is the second best server security in the market. And you could see here they have a standard baseboard management controller. Every server, by the way, has what's called a baseboard management controller. It's a chip used for managing your server. It typically has network access. It can access the operating system and every device within the server. So think of it as a backdoor. So typically they can do this check at the beginning and say, okay, does my baseboard management controller firmware, is it legit? Is this actually all the right zeros and ones, or did a bad actor implement some code in here? But outside of initial boot up, they can't check that. And so the only other option they have is they can use an SPS firmware to check your BIOS and then verify your operating system. And you'll see all these X's here. These are potential places where you could inject malicious code. So what's the best way to go about this? And the best way to go about it is the way HPE does it with our ILO 6 chip. And that ILO 6 chip has a burned-in immutable key that we can use to verify the firmware that's running on it. And if a single 0 or 1 is out of place, we'll reflash to the last known good one, or give you an alert that, hey, something weird is going on here. And then once it verifies itself, it can then go out and check all this other firmware, as well as the BIOS, as well as the operating system. So this is a chain of trust, and it's zero trust because nothing is trusted by default. Everything gets checked. And oh, by the way, this can do this check every 24 hours, not just at boot up while the server's running. That's what makes HPE different than anyone else. No one else can do this while the server's running, and most people can't even do this to begin with. So we say, root of trust is pretty awesome. It covers your BMC firmware, your BIOS, your option ROM drivers on PCIe devices, the system CPLD. But what about other major firmwares in the system? Are we missing anything? And the answer was yes. We were not checking PCIe device firmware. And if you don't know what a PCIe device is, it could be a networking card, it could be a GPU, could be NVMe storage. These are all devices that live on an NVMe bus. And so until Gen 11, we had no way of checking that. Well, come along with the Security Protocol and Data Model, SPDM. We can leverage this industry standard protocol to check PCIe devices. So this is brand new with Gen 11. No one else can do this. This is HPE unique. So now our ILO 6 can check itself, and then as part of its checks throughout the rest of the server, including the BIOS and the operating system, we can also check your GPUs, your networking card, your NVMe storage, and we can see if a single 0 or 1 is out of place. If any malicious code exists, you will be notified. The server can also be set to recover itself automatically. So this is unprecedented levels of protection. So if you're worried about security, HPE is the way to go when it comes to these servers. And so this is my last slide. This is just showing you our security dashboard here on our ILO 6. And you can see here, everything will be green and good to go if you're following HPE security best practices. And we now have this global component integrity, which is those PCIe devices, which is brand new for this year. So if you have any concerns about security, reach out to WEI, reach out to HPE. We're here to help. And
Dylan, I'd say
James,
if anyone did not have a concern about security, then they might not be in the right job these days, because that is first and foremost. I mean, I remember just following the tech space for the last 20 years. Security was always a thing, but it was much more of that add-on. And now it is the leading conversation of everything that we're focused on here. And then, you know, to secure the hardware, and that's so important to focus on these days. So really appreciate the insights that you shared there. Matt and Dylan are going to hang through our conversation with Matthew Judon, and I saw Matthew get on here, so I'm going to send him a couple of the notes on the unmute and get his video feed going. But Dylan, I do appreciate, and I'll be giving some contact information for everyone at the end of our event as well. With that, Matthew Judon is with us, linebacker, and he's moving around. He's going to get himself a nice little spot there in his location, and then we'll get down to our conversation. Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. How y'all doing?
We're good. We're good. First, you need to give us an update on the arm. How are you feeling, and what's things looking like for you?
I'm feeling good. It's coming along. It's just a long journey. Just got to stay the course. Hopefully, I can play again this year. But if not, make sure it's good to go when I do get back out there.
That sounds great. Hey, our sponsor company today, WEI, based out of New Hampshire. We have a lot of Patriot fans online with us. I just want to address them real quick, remind them that you can do a couple of things to get involved here. If you have some questions for Matt as we go through the next 40 minutes or so, one, you can put them in the chat to me, and then I can read those off. You can also encourage, if you want to get your video feeds showing to all of us, that is just fine. And then in Zoom, if at the bottom, I think it's the 3 dots under that more, but you can use that little raised hand icon. That'll put you in the participants view. I'll be able to see that hand come up, and then I'll invite you to unmute, and you can ask a question of Matt here, and that'll just help me kind of keep us from all talking over each other. 4-time Pro Bowler. And one of the things I know you were on, Matt, and Dylan was talking a little bit about how HPE, from a technology standpoint, didn't just create something on their servers and say, good enough. They're constantly improving and constantly growing. Let me ask you, as a player, first on the field, then I want to talk about kind of leadership and locker room, but on the field, what drives you to continue to get better, get faster, stay as strong as possible, year in and year out?
I mean, I think the biggest driving force for anybody is just winning, first of all, but then it's also, man, you don't get to play this game for very long. So once it's gone, it's gone. It's something you can get back. I can always get in good shape or better shape or run a faster mile, but it's never, when I'm 45, 47, it's no more top of the line athlete. It's no more I can play with some guys that's 20, 25, 26, just coming into their prime. So if you don't continue to get better, man, you're going to start decreasing, and speed, physicality, strength going to go down. And then it's going to be looking like the odd man out. You don't never want to be the odd man out in this game. So during the off season, and during the season, you want to stay strong, but really that's the time to put the work in the off season, just get bigger, faster, stronger, and come back more in shape and ready.
What you talked about there is reminding me about, I think it's CBS has a commercial out there. Emmett Smith, Jerry Rice, right? They're sitting on the couch like, hey, we could go back out there and do that. And then Emmett's like sleeping on the sideline.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not a 40-man-year-old game. It's that 20 and 30-year-old man's game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you be having it, you be knowing what to do. And I think that's when you get in your prime and you your best, when you know exactly what to do and you still have the speed, the stamina, the strength to go out and do it. But once you hit that, okay, I know everything to do, but I'm not capable of doing it. You got to start coaching, man. It's time to hang them up and pass that knowledge and tutelage down to other players.
Well, let's talk about how do you do that now, and maybe that's something you're focused a little more on given the injury. That are you looking to pass on that leadership by things that you're seeing to those younger now linebackers that are having to step up and try and fill your very large shoes and very large red arms that we're all very used to seeing out there on the field? What are you doing to really lead in the locker room now?
Well, I mean, it's just keys and throughout the games that I would take and I would see and I would use to have an advantage. And I think with me, coach allowed me to be on the sideline and pass those things along to our rushers. And we got the little Surface tablets, and we can go back and watch clips and where they like still pictures, but I can be like, okay, you rushing a little wide. You start here, then you kind of wide. But that's stuff you don't really notice on the field. It kind of just happens. And so with that, we can just talk back and forth and just pass knowledge back real fast. And so it's a lot of little things because we have some great edge rushers and we got some great ends, and Y stepped up, and we're getting a lot of good play from Anthony Jennings right now. And so I can't really complain, but if I could help them just make one more play or be a little bit quicker, be a little bit faster, that's what I'm trying to do.
When you're on the field and you're playing, are you one of the guys that comes off right away and goes to a surface and wants to immediately see what went on that last couple sequences? Or do you have others, linebacker coaches and stuff, bring it over to you and say, hey, this is what I want you to see?
Nah, I really, like, after every play, I really try to watch the jumbotron for the replay. And so I kind of know, okay, how they trying to attack us, where's the ball hitting when they do try to run this play, and how are they trying to block it in the grand scheme of things. So if I can steal a little bit of that from a replay, that's what I'll be trying to do.
Okay. Awesome. And then what about in terms of studying film? How has that really changed? And was that a big jump with the capabilities that the NFL had compared to, say, college? Was that a big jump? And did you learn a whole lot more and have to learn a lot more upon entering the NFL?
Oh, well, I think as you just continue to play, you're going to learn more of the game. And so I went to the highest level of the game, and I think I learned a lot more of the game. And with this being the highest level of the game, we got the big iPads that carry all the film on it, and we can download it to the iPad, so we don't need Wi-Fi or we don't need a lot of stuff. And it's just an individual thing. It's an individual thing. Sometimes you can dilute your brain with too much film. You can get so worried. It'd be like, well, they're gonna run this, they're gonna run this. They ran this on 3rd and long against these guys. They're gonna block us or they're gonna attack us like this. And sometimes you just gotta let the game play out. The game will play out in the first quarter. All right, this is their plan that they practice all week for us. And when you allow that to happen and you understand it, so it's a lot of diagnosing. It's a lot of they say defense is reactive. I don't think we're really reactive because we call our play when they call their play, but I think we have to diagnose what they're going to do faster than they do what we do.
Well, it ties back to the conversation we were having on the business side of things. Is every organization out there these days makes so much data, and sometimes you can get lost in it. And what we were suggesting with HPE, with our partners at WEI, is you have to know the right data to look at and get into it and then make the right decision. So I hear what you're saying is, yeah, plan, but you have to be in the moment. And talk to me about that. How do you settle yourself as just a person to just be in that moment and throw all the other distractions? You got 3 little ones at home. How do you forget about what's going on at school? How do you forget about everything else and just be in the moment there at the games?
Shoot, I got 4 little ones, but it's easy, man. It's easy to go to work. It's easy to go to work. But you can't never take off, your dad hat or, your Superman cape to your kids. But to go to work, to be there with my friends, laugh, joke around. We be having like sauna confessionals and, locker room karaoke, and just learn about different walks of life or what people want from their life that different from yours. And it's not always right or it's not always wrong. It's just different. And so it's easy because, it's so many characters in our locker room.
And I want to dive into a little bit more of that. But first, I'm going to send a little unmute to Steve out there who's joining us. He's got a question for you. Steve, got you unmuted. What's your question for Matt?
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Hey, good. I appreciate your passion for New England. I love when you're out there in the field before the game, playing catch with the kids. My question was about the fine that was put against you and then revoked. And so what are your thoughts on that? I liked your passion around that. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but you were passionate about trying to get that revoked.
What fine? I got fined.
No, there was a potential fine in 2021, I think it was.
I don't even remember, man. They be trying to fine me all the time. I think on the, just the subject of fines, because I just don't recall the fine. The subject of fines, it's a lot of different things you can get fined for, whether that's uniform violations, whether that's conduct. So, like you can't tweet like 5 minutes before the game, and it don't even matter. Like I can't even do it and I'm not even playing. You still get fined. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of gray area stuff. So that's like the uniforms or the conducts or the stuff. Those are just the rules. But then it's play fines. So, a face mask is a fine, which I don't think that should be a fine, but it is. A horse collar is a fine. So the things that they try to eliminate from the game, you get fined for if you do in the game. But it's not too many fines like that get assessed from the offense, Mm-hmm. Like even if the running backs or whoever getting tackled, like duck their head, they don't get fined, but we get fined for helmet to helmet contact. It's just how you got to play the game. We don't make the rules. We also don't make the fines. We also don't make how much you get fined or when you get fined. And so when you go and just try to appeal it and try to get your money back and rescind the fine, it's hard. But if you can do it, kudos for you. But then they also have a program where if you don't get fined for the same thing twice in a year, and you'll have to go through like some driving courses, classes and stuff, and you can get some money back. It's a lot.
Cool. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Steve. You brought up the offense there, Matthew. Obviously, you're used to giving out the blows and hitting folks there. What about some running back out there in your whole career? Who is someone that has just hit hard that you were maybe a little surprised, like, whoa, this one can bring it rushing north and south?
Oh man, I think Marshawn Lynch, but I think the hardest running back I ever had to tackle was my rookie year. LeGarrette Blount, 2016. LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I seen a couple stars on that one, but that was. I mean, I made the tackle, but I lost the war.
Okay. Yeah. You felt him coming downhill.
Yeah.
All right. We had a question from Rick in the chat. What do you think the best thing in terms of changes because of technology? Is it the ability to review certain calls? Is it the ability to try and have the ability to maybe it's some of the technology on the sidelines where you guys can go right into the some protocols right away and make sure you guys are safe out there? What are some technologies that you think have really done the best to help the game of football?
I think the best technologies is like the next gen stats where you could track like how fast people move and like on this certain play, how the percentages of the likelihood, because it's really like you would think of it as 50-50. He either can catch the ball or he can drop the ball. But they got so many analytics in the back of the corner. Tyler Lockett, 3% chance he make this catch, and he always making a catch, always. And so I think those are like kind of the best. And when you can kind of just see like the little lines on the field, I think that. But because review always human error. We everybody in the world will see one thing and be like, oh, for sure, that's a catch, and then they still call on the field stance, incomplete pass, timeout, turnover on downs, and we like, oh, we ain't see that one coming. So I think for real, they need to implement like a voting rule. They need to have they need to have 4 other like refs on the review, and then like everybody like be like, okay, is this yes, no, and then the ref that actually watch it on the field, he got the last say.
He's the tiebreaker.
Yeah, he'll be the tiebreaker. Yeah.
All right. Well, you brought up stats. You want to play a little trivia with me?
Let's go ahead.
All right, we've been talking to, so this is a 4th in a series that we've been doing. David Andrews was our first guy on board. Then we had Hunter Henry and then Matthew Slater. So I'm going to ask you, we'll go on 2 here. 1, who do you think out of yourself? Well, let's do it this way. We'll take 40-yard dash. This was pre-draft 40-yard dash. What do you think David Andrews ran?
Pre-draft?
Pre-draft. Oh, you were close. I saw it on your lips. You were starting to say the number was going to be right.
A 410? Whatever.
He's not that quick. He went 5-1-2.
5-1-2?
He went 5-1-2.
Okay.
What about Slater? He's a gunner.
Slate probably was zooming though back then. I say Slate was a 4-5-3.
4-4-4.
4-4-4.
Yeah. What about Hunter? Tight end. Big boy.
Tight end. 4-9-7.
4-6. 4-6-8. 4-6-8. Now here's the real question. Do you remember yours?
Mine was like a 4-7-8, bro.
4-7-3. Give yourself some credit. 4-7-3.
Trash.
All right, let's go with bench press. Which one of you 4 did the least amount of reps on the bench press? Slater, Henry, Andrews, or you?
Hunter.
What do you think he did?
He probably did like 13.
He did 21.
21?
Your boy Slater, you get on him. He only did 11.
Well, Slate was wide receiver dreams, DB.
Right?
But I thought like Hunt would like, all right, okay.
All right. So
21, my bad.
who won between you and Andrews? It's close, but who won?
I had 30. Maybe DA
Yes.
had 32.
You had 30. Now you beat him. He had 27.
27. Dang.
So you got to bring that back to him tomorrow in the locker room. Let him know. And Slater again was 11. Now I mean that's more than I could do, but
man, those testing things, man, people get psyched out.
Right?
You know, it's just the pressure of the moment. The combine now is like really nice. You get there, I think your second day you do your on field drills. Then you do all the off field stuff after. But it used to be like, bro, you get there and they drill you for 3 days. You go through all the testing, and then they wake you up at the butt crack of dawn to do all of like the on field stuff. And you're like, oh my God.
It's like boot camp.
You was just so happy to get up out of there.
You just be done
at the end. Yeah, you was just so happy to get out of there. You like I don't care. Wherever I got. I do better at my pro day if I want to make anything up.
Do you guys like on bench press and stuff like that? Do you guys still, when you're clowning around, you said that you had, right, you bring levity there. I mean, and end the line, look, you guys are playing a game. You should be out there having fun. We see you on the sidelines and you seem to really enjoy and embrace the opportunity you've been given to play and enjoy. Do you guys compete still, trying to bench press, things like that in the locker room?
No, not that. We, when it comes to training, we do a training very smart now.
Okay.
So, because, you got like shoulders, you got injuries that
could come in.
You're nursing and you don't want to be, but we do compete. Like we got like this force plate and we got to jump. We be trying to see who can jump the highest. We got a hoop. We be playing pig in there. So it's just some things that we compete in to make the time go by, but it's also just camaraderie. It's our brother, but we compete in other stuff. We try to keep like physicality out of it.
Makes sense. Let me put a controversial question on you from Steve out there. You ready for it?
Yeah,
turf or grass?
Yeah. Grass 100%.
All day?
Yeah. I think the only time turf is better, and you can't really do this, but only time turf is better is when it's raining. When it's raining, just being on grass is terrible. But turf is not that bad. But snow, hot weather games, like when it's really hot, turf is terrible. And then turf kind of get hard, and the grass get hard, but turf get real hard when it's cold, when it's frozen.
You feel more of those bounces. All right, well, we're talking about cold here. Your boy Slater, Long Beach guy. I'm a California guy. He was like, he's still not used to New England winters. So make sure, one, for all of us, that he's got a nice jacket this year. If he doesn't have something warm enough, make sure Slater's taken care of. How long did it take you? What Michigan is up at, where you spent your college years. You're born down in Baton Rouge, but you're comfortable with the cold. But do you stay in the cold when you retire, or are you going to find another kind of warmer place to hang out?
Nah, I'm gonna find somewhere I get some seasons, but I'm not going cold. I'm not. If I don't have to do snow, I probably won't, unless I want to, go visit some snow, some snowboarding or skiing with the kids. But I don't really want to shovel.
Are you a boarder or a skier?
I never done any.
Oh, neither.
And I want to surf too. So I know if you're a Californian. Yeah. Let me know if, surfing is a thing.
The problem, my surfing was out in Hawaii with my grandparents. Okay. It's too cold out here for me. The water, and it's not. Yeah, surfing in California can be chilly.
Oh, really? I might have to go to Hawaii and surf.
I think that's the place to do it. Let's talk about uniforms. The creamsicle was back for Tampa. I just read that I believe that the old Houston Oilers uniform will be brought back up by the Texans to be worn. Do you have a favorite all-time throwback uni that you just love?
It got to be the old school Lions ones with the long line stretched out.
Okay.
The one that Barry used to wear.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a good call.
Or who else got some real nice uniforms? I think those right there. I think those the ones. Just growing up in Michigan, watching Barry. Yeah.
I mentioned incorrectly. You've got 4 youngsters, and you mentioned earlier, when you do get older in the game, you start thinking about, all right, it's not my time anymore. It's time for the next generation. What about you and coaching? Is that something that you are thinking about down the road, youth wise, professional?
I think maybe. I got to see where my life is at that point. I got to see where I'm at, what the kids want to do, where I want to be full time living. And I think at that point you kind of just gotta step back and just look at your life. But maybe high school. I think that'd be. I would either do high school or NFL. I wouldn't do college just because of the recruiting and how I feel like how fickle like the commitments is now. Just with like NIL.
Right.
It's really like whoever got the most money getting the best athletes, or they go to Bama or Georgia.
Right.
So it's just it'll be tough to just go to try to recruit. You always on the road.
Lack of family time. And family is, I know, important to you. I think this is probably known by a lot of people, but I wanted to make sure we surfaced it here. You wear the number 9 now, and that is because of your siblings. You're one of 10 out there, if I have my numbers correctly and everything. Just talk about that decision and how you feel, the family pride you have when you throw on that number 9 every time.
Well, I just love that, it say Judon on the back, but then 9 under it. And then I was really lucky when I came over here. Nobody was actually wearing 9, like a quarterback, kicker, nobody. And then they allowed us to wear single digits for the first year. And so I saw that opportunity. I took it. I wore 9 in college. Just representing them as much as I can. It's not a really big thing, but if you know, and they be having my back every time I go out there, or if I need something, or just words of encouragement. I got older and younger siblings, so it's just good. It just makes me feel good to represent them.
You always come off on interviews on the after games when we see you pregame and on the side, you come off as looking like a great teammate and a guy having fun. Is your family why? Because it was so big, you had to work as a team to make that through and grow up with everybody?
Yeah, but like you kind of said earlier, man, we playing a game. Like, win, lose, or draw. Like, we could be in way worse situations, and we lose a game, it kind of feel like the end of the world. Everybody's sad, but then once you walk out the building, and I'm not saying we don't care, or I'm not saying that you can't be frustrated, But I'm saying, like, man, once you walk out that building, like, you got so much other stuff to worry about, so much weight of the world. Like, you go work on your craft, you come back and get better. But like, once you walk out that building, you got to leave work at work. And so when I'm there, when I'm talking to y'all, like, I could be, anywhere else. I could be dead broke or in jail, but I'm not, bro. I'm fortunate. I'm a New England Patriot. I'm playing, or we playing some really good football. It's hard to win in this league, so I'm not gonna cry or complain about a loss. We just gonna take these lessons and keep going. And then when we put it together like we did last week, it's like, okay, well, now they actually look good, or they might can beat anybody. So it's a week to week league, man. It's a week to week league. So I can't get mad. I just got to be myself.
Oh, we appreciate you being yourself. Let me ask you this. And again, folks, if you have a question, if you want to drop it in the chat, feel free. You can also drop it in the chat. Just say, hey, James, I got something to ask. And then I'll see your name and I'll pull you up here. A quarterback that got away, someone that you had a little desire to sack, and maybe you won't get that chance because has retired. Is there someone out there that was on a hit list that you were really hoping to get your arms around and put on the ground?
Well, I was trying to get Dak. I hit him a couple times, but I couldn't sack him. I think I didn't sack almost every quarterback I didn't play against. And or that's in the league, and so he was one of them. But hopefully I get another opportunity and make it count. But I think my sack list and resume of quarterbacks is pretty darn good.
Pretty impressive. 66.5, is that the number?
I believe so. So.
During the season, is that something you and or other guys on the team are focused on? Are you focused on some of those individual numbers, or really does that take a much further back seat and it's about the team, it's about your focus, your unity goal, not those individual accolades or numbers?
I believe you can have both, and it got to be done in moderation and got to be done at appropriate times. So I can care, okay, well, I need 30 sacks. I need 30 sacks this year. I want to get 30 sacks. But it's like, okay, I have to do those in the construction of the team. Like, I can't be, trying to get a sack on a run play and give up 40 yards. Or I can't be me. I gotta be, all right, on this play, when I get this opportunity, I gotta make the most of this opportunity, and if not, then we got to go back to playing good football, and so when you, like, say, a receiver, you're like, okay, I want 1,000 yards. All right, if you can get 1,000 yards, but if you're not run blocking, or you're not helping, or you're not being like a good, like, or you had a good year, but like you was a shitty teammate, like you was a bad teammate. So, and so I think everybody kind of does a great job of kind of putting their pride and ego to the side, and it's not really about me. And I think you hear that a lot when you talk to a lot of guys on this team. There's a lot of guys around the league that, kind of about face around some, some tough times, and they turn into just mercenaries. They just go out there and, okay, I'm looking to get the ball, I'm looking to make these plays. Or you see guys on teams that's really good, and they pouting, and they like, well, I didn't get the touches I'm used to getting, I'm not getting any yards I'm used to getting. And then you kind of just look at those players, you be like, bro, like, it's like, it's serious. As serious as you want it to be, but like, it could be so many worse situations.
It's interesting you talking in that manner here, because now I'm hearing a theme from all your teammates that have been on here, from Slater, Anderson. There seems to be such a humility with a lot of specifically your teammates now, these Patriot players. Is that something that you find within the organization there, and is that different from some of the other organizations you've been in the past?
No, I think we take that approach because it's just leadership. I think it's from the top down. And Bill really don't talk, but he don't talk much about himself, like, at all. He ain't gonna say nothing about what he did or how he acted or how he moved. He always gonna bring it back towards the team. And I think we kind of see somebody that has so much success, but just never say me, I, my. And so I think we just all kind of like, all right, well, if that's the blueprint, like, that's just the blueprint. Like, let's just go ahead about that. And then it kind of get you out of a lot of trouble. Like I could have hopped on this interview and be like, okay, well, we suffering because I'm not there, or if I was this, or I could do this, and I'm like, bro, how good are you? Like, are you the best player ever? Like, it's difficult. And so we kind of just keep it as a team approach, and we talk about our individual selves in a humble manner, and that's how we just go about things, and it makes it easier, makes your life way easier. It makes answering questions way easier because you never really saying, okay, I can do this or I should have done this. It's like, okay, well, if I have the opportunity, we can get to this. And then when I do have opportunities, the team wants to, this is how we're going to use them.
Luke's on with us, congratulating you guys on the win last weekend and moving into this divisional game coming up. How do you guys regulate your moods, right? Do you get, hey, we got that win, we're back in the win column, so now we're super amped up? Or is it, you got to keep that quelled a little bit so you can just focus on the job at hand? How do you deal with those ups and downs? How's the team deal with that?
I think you just kind of try to take the same approach week in and week out, regardless of the outcome. Like, if you're a worker, you're gonna work, whether if you won by 2, by 50, or lost by the same amount. And so you're just gonna come back to work. And I think that's the approach that everybody take is, okay, learn what you did good, improve on what you didn't do good, and then come back out here to work. It's never really about, like, just, we can't play last week again. So it's just tough, like, riding that energy. No, it's a whole different team. We're gonna be in a whole different state. We just got to come out here and be able to play and be ready to play.
Copy. I didn't get a lot of football watching this weekend due to some soccer tournaments that I was at with my daughter. But I did catch the Niners Vikings last night. Vikings defense had a couple good takeaways towards the end. But here's the question. They brought the worm onto the field. They had some good celebrations. Do you talk to us about how you guys plan some of those celebrations? Are you one of those ringleaders? Do you leave that to some of the younger cats out there? How do you go about some of that?
Man, sometimes, people just take off and do what they're gonna do. It be a different energy and emotion that come over you, and you just run off and do what you did. So sometimes,
but some of these
planned,
are elaborate these days. Some
planned.
teams like are practicing, and it's they've got that like a routine.
Well, I mean, see that though. They be in the, I don't know when they be doing it for real. They during practice, or they just talk about it in passing, or while they sitting down eating, and then they'll come out, have a good play, score a touchdown. I mean, I feel like it'd be wide receivers and stuff, DBs and all that stuff.
It's more of them.
Yeah. They the more devious ones.
A football field that you would love to play on again. This can be any field in the world. A football field you'd love to play on again.
Dang, it got to be West Bloomfield High.
Okay.
Back high school football again with the gang. But you know, I still haven't played in every stadium, so I'm still waiting to play in every stadium. I think I haven't played in Chicago, Denver, San Francisco. So it's a couple more stadiums I need to play in. To complete a career before I complete my career. So.
Get those checked off. What about Grand Valley State players, former teammates, high school players, former teammates? Do you get an opportunities to stay in touch with some of those guys from the past?
I do. We communicate a lot. We got group messages. A couple of my teammates was just out here this weekend. We was hanging out. I met a whole bunch of group of great people. I got Coach Whitlow. He was my D-line coach when I graduated. He's out in Colorado at Army. The Air Force. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Mitchell. He's at Miami of Ohio. I think he worked with like player personnel or something. But I talked to coaches, players, teammates. It was a good group of guys, and they still reach out, and I reach back. I ain't never gonna be too good, for the people. Man, we was eating noodles in the summer, man. It was tough up there, bro. It was tough up there. So we built a strong bond, really unbreakable. Doesn't matter like what I do or what they do or how much money that either of us have.
Brotherhood, the friendships are still there, which is great to hear. In the time that we've spent together, you don't come off to me personally as a big trash talker. Are you?
Hell yeah. Yeah. I don't be talking trash until it's time though. So, when I'm playing a game, like video games or it's a competition, that's when I'm really talking trash. But other than that, I'm just, I learned to turn my competitiveness off. So
you can dial it up and down as needed.
Yeah. It was hard at first, but then I just had to start thinking like what do I get from being competitive with this person, or what do I get from try to outdo this person. And so I learned how to turn that off. I've been better from it ever since. But sometimes it'll come out. It's like when I be playing, I go and play Dave and Buster's, like the basketball game, and then Greer will be trying to beat me or something, and then we won't say anything about it until we done. And then I'm like, well, why didn't you say nothing when we was playing? Then I would have tried harder. So,
are you the biggest trash talker on your team right now? Are you the biggest trash talker now? Is there someone else that really can put you in the rearview mirror?
I'm probably the biggest trash talker on our team, but I think when and it's gonna be very soon when he becomes like an absolute pro. It's gonna be hard for him to shut up, for people to shut him up. It's Jack Jones. It's Jack Jones. When he become a pro and he takes his his everything to the next level because he has a really good he has good instincts. He's a great football player. When he takes everything else he needs to do to the next level and he becomes that player, he's going to be one heck of a trash talker.
Just watch out for him. Who do you think is the biggest trash talker in the league? Do you all on the field, you all know that there's a guy now out in the league that is just the trash talker on the field?
I see. That's all right. I think it's two different types of trash talker, and I think the biggest trash talker got to be Brandon Graham.
Okay,
but like the most annoying trash talker is Christian Wilkins. But he be doing weird stuff. He be like borderline. So like it's a different like Graham. He just be talking. He be talking like, hey, don't come this way. Like we own you today. We own you. And then Christian be like, oh, I'm like, bro, why are you doing that?
He's doing it so you don't come near him because you're like, he's weird.
Nah, yeah, he'll come up to you and do it. I'm like, bro, don't do that in that football game. Like, don't do that. But that's him.
Matt, I appreciate it. Great conversation. You gave us some great smiles and laughs and some insights into the game. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed your time and appreciate you opening up to all of us on behalf of the whole WEI team that put this event on. Really appreciate it. We wish you good luck with the arm and the rehab and the recovery and look forward to seeing you back out there with those big red sleeves, getting some more sacks.
I got you. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Thank you, sir.
Y'all have a good one.
I want to bring Dylan and Matthew back on line here just to wrap things up a little bit. And they both had a chance to listen through the whole conversation. Dylan, I saw you smiling in the background several times. Was there something of most interest to you from what you heard from Matt today?
Yeah, man. Matt was pretty funny. I wasn't expecting him to make me laugh so much. But yeah, it was really cool getting to hear him talk and seeing how he thought about things. It was way different than I thought a lot of his answers were going to be.
Yeah, and a low, not a big, boisterous individual, but absolutely, fun and funny, and I appreciate him opening up there. Matt, was there something that stuck out to you from the conversation there?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked those questions about who's the biggest trash talker, because it's interesting because you can see them talking on the field, but you can't always make out what they're saying. So it's cool to get an insight into what their personality is and what might be going on out there that you don't always hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Who on the WEI team is the biggest trash? No, we won't do that. That's not fair. We can't. No trash talking out there. But what we also what I want to kind of do to wrap things up here is he did talk, Matt did, about the teamwork out there, how they do work together, how all the different groups have to work together, different leadership, the coaches and all that. And that's the thing that I'll bring us back to here as we wrap up this event, folks, is that definitely want you to be able to reach out and work with the teams from WEI and from HPE. And again, because of I think it was Dylan mentioned it earlier that because of the architectural prowess that the WEI team has and the deep number of certifications they have, they can easily get on with HPE folks and bring them in to have those discovery conversations, and obviously deal with things as you're moving through your projects out there. So I want to make sure you do that. WEI.com for more information. Again, if you don't have a WEI representative, a member of the team that you're in constant contact with, and you're not sure, then marketing@WEI.com. So you can reach out, send that email. Team will be happy to, get a little lunch and learn together with you and schedule some one-on-one time. And of course, can talk about the latest in terms of those HPE ProLiant servers out there. Of course, powered by the fourth generation of the Intel Xeon Scalable processors. So again, folks, want to thank all of you for being here. Some good questions that y'all sent in as well. So I appreciate seeing those in the chat out there. With that, we'll wrap wrap things up for the event. Again, WEI.com and marketing@WEI.com. With that, we'll wrap it up. On behalf of everyone, thanks for joining us, and we do look forward to talking to you all down the road.